everybody, and welcome back to Let's Play CCLP3. Can you believe we have only 5 levels left? 5 levels! Crazy, right? We're on level 145, Recurring Dream, and you can see right here that this is the final of the 3 passwords that we got on Motion Blur. So you could theoretically skip Old Frog if you want to, but why would you want to do that? It's such a cool puzzle, and okay, I can think of a few reasons, but anyway. We do have a story segment for this level, so let's go ahead and read that. When Chip finally returned home, he was tired, very tired, but he was also very satisfied. After all, he had just finished solving the last few levels of the clubhouse, and they had been some of the toughest puzzles that he had encountered. Still, he had a strange feeling that there was something that he had missed. He lay awake on his bed, thinking back to all the amazing challenges that he had ever faced. His eyelids grew heavy, and soon he was having a weird dream. He was back in the first clubhouse being chased by a swarm of walkers. Then suddenly he was seeing those unfinished levels whose drawings he'd seen in the Bitbusters lounge. Nothing seemed to make sense. So this level, I think, is the first chronologically released level to reference other official levels. I say chronologically released because in terms of chronological creation, Memories from CC2 came first. But you can see in the first room we had Jumping Swarm, and this is Spirals. Now we move over to this area. You may be tempted to open this up, but you don't want to because that yellow key that leads to is useless and you can't do anything else until we can access a yellow door. So I'm going to go through this blue door instead. And this is actually a really interesting segment here because this is meant to resemble Lesson 2, except now the walls are blocks, you can see here. And this is a little tricky. You want to figure out that you need to use as few blocks as possible and go down here to this set of 3 in order to bridge here and ultimately get up. Collect blocks to get past the chip socket. Watch out for open doors. Yeah, that's a reference to the hint, which is also from Lesson 2. Pretty neat. I really like that touch. It's pretty awesome. We can also go and explore this way, but I don't think there's really anything we can do over here. We can, however, see more stuff, which is pretty cool. But there's a yellow door, which I guess we can get to, but there's no fire boots available yet, so that's useless at the moment. So, you notice that there was an invisible wall there at the beginning with the walkers. That's because originally what we did is we had this clone button that you would press, that you were forced to press, that cloned a block next to the chip socket. But as it turned out, you know, I raised the idea, you know, someone could theoretically just clone that block right when a walker was running past and just avoid going through the rest of the level the way they're supposed to. So we decided to just go ahead and add a way to make that impossible. Alright, so I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that you're supposed to push this block and this block here in the Vague Dream section. I mentioned earlier in the part where we played that level that would actually come in handy later on in the game and be referenced again. So this is that time. And you can see the fireball area up there, except now it's a little bit more complete, which is interesting. Okay, so now let's go over here. And now we have this area here with teeth, which is also supposed to kind of repeat what we saw in Vague Dream. And I love that. I really love that from a design perspective because, you know, to be honest, this is what some dreams feel like. So this is an interesting little conundrum here. In Lynx, you would want to build along the top. But I'm actually going to cheat here and just do this the easy way. I'm going to go this way because I'll show you why. You're supposed to get this bug onto, if I can remember how to do this. How are you supposed to do this again? I'm trying to remember how you do this part. Is it just a matter of running back to... Okay, so here's the thing. The bug is supposed to blow up a bomb over there, but there's a chip that I need to get first. over in that area. So if I were to push this over here, he's going to be up there, but then he's going to backtrack and he's going to go right into the water, which is not what I want him to do. So, yeah, I'm trying to remember how I did this section. Hang on. I may have to pause buffer this, but let me see if I can... Okay. I'm just trying to think here before I do anything. Oh, wait. I think I know. All I have to do is just... There. Okay, so now... Okay, right. It's going to go over and we should be good. Alright, so now it's going to blow up this. Now this, notice this section here, we haven't seen this whole tank configuration yet with the cloners, but we will actually see something similar to this pretty soon. And the story is actually going to explain why. Now we could explore over here, but there's nothing to see, which is kind of funny. And then we have this rather interesting section with this bug, which is kind of a tricky dodge to make, I gotta admit. And then from this point on, we can actually just push these blocks over here, which we need to do eventually. So I'm just going to go and take care of that now. So we need to get that chip down there. Well, actually, both those chips. We also need to make sure that cloner doesn't clone so we can get to that last one. Alright, so I'm just going to leave that there until we need that. So at this point, the only real option we have is either to get the fire boots, which by themselves don't really accomplish anything, or we could just go through this trap, which thankfully is held down, or at least it was. But at this point, it's actually impossible to go back through there, so let's hope for the best here. Okay, good. A bunch of boots, and if this were Lynx, I would totally be dead right now, so thankfully it's not. We can push blocks over hints. Now, you may be tempted to go through that blue door, but that's actually a red herring. You don't want to do that. You want to save your blue key for later. And I think that should be everything. We're about to just totally lose our boots again. Alright. So at this point, I believe it would be prudent to get these, since we've gone through that thief. And now we have fire boots, which means that we can get that blue key that we saw over here. Or the yellow key that we saw over here, rather. So this will enable us to move further. And you can see here that we can't really access those buttons. Not without flippers, at least, which I think is impossible. And we have even more recurring dream, or vague dream. This is recurring dream. Vague dream stuff over here. Like that. So here, there's this interesting section. I believe this is the clone button that originally controlled that clone machine that I mentioned that used to be in the level. And then we have this rather fascinating block puzzle here. And this tank, which allows you to essentially just see if that tank over in the other area is moving, which is pretty cool. Like, oh, I thought that would have stopped it. There we go. Alright, so now you'll notice that this bug is pressing red buttons. Those are the red buttons that control the ball cloner up there, which thankfully the level allows you to see that. So I'm going to push that there to prevent that from going any further, and then I'm going to go ahead and go back to the ball cloner and get the chips. And from there, we can start working on the end game of this level. So I'm going to have to loop back all the way this way. There is a lot of backtracking to do in this level, which is one of the only things I don't like about it. That, and when you optimize, you're up against a lot of equalizers, which render a lot of the time savers. Like, you can use the mouse with the bug thing that I did earlier. Like, if I'll show you right here, like normally in Lynx, you would have to bridge using this row to prevent that whole situation that we were trying to make sure it didn't happen from happening. Because you couldn't do what I did there and flick the block off the thin wall. That just wouldn't be possible. Now, I'm not sure... Okay, yes, we can go through here. Sort of. But we need suction boots in order to get all the treasure in that little area there. So, we can open this up, which does nothing. At least by itself. But we can maneuver this block out. So let's do that. Let's maneuver this guy out of here. Okay, is that... Come on. Is that... No? I keep going one move late. There we go. Alright, so now we got the block positions. So now we just need to make yet another loop all the way around. Because see, we're trying to get into this area here with the socket, because we normally couldn't get in there unless that bomb was blown up. Oh, a fun fact about this section. So originally, this blue wall row was not here, and this glider was just bouncing around. And that was meant to be a reference to another Mod Hop level, which didn't make it into CCLP3, called Throughput. But then the blue wall thing was added so that it referenced mouth-watering from earlier in the set. So I thought that was really clever. I really like that idea. Alright, so now we just need to get that red key. And that really is ultimately all we're getting, because we're going to lose all the boots we're going to get in that little area here. And we should be good to go. So at this point, we just need to go back down. Well, actually not down through there. We need to go around this way now. We cleared the dirt in this room, so we should be cleared for pushing here. So let's just keep on going until we get to that toggle button, and we woke up! I really love just how this level subverts that. It basically makes you think that you're going to get you wake up before you even get there. So anyway, we are going to move on to suspended animation. Oh boy, this level. Let's read the story portion for this level. All of a sudden, Chip woke up. He pondered upon his dream and realized why he felt that it wasn't all over yet. Those secret levels that he'd seen in the lounge, where were they? There was only one way to find out. It was midnight when Chip reached the clubhouse. He sneaked in and quietly made his way to the door next to the control room that said authorized personnel only. The lock had been damaged by the explosion and was yet to be repaired. Chip's fingers nervously grabbed the handle and pulled the door open. As Chip climbed down a ladder leading down into a secret underground facility, he looked around nervously at all the monsters in the room into which he was descending. Why weren't they moving? Then he smiled, realizing that they were all asleep. Cakewalk! Chip chuckled as he tiptoed around each room collecting all the chips. Alright, so this level is also a Mod Hop level, and it is ridiculous. You can see that it is untimed, and this is only the third of 3 untimed levels in the set. And so far the other 2 have been pretty crazy challenges, and this one is no exception. There are actually 2 ways to solve this, and I'll try to explain both of them while using what I consider to be the easier quote-unquote solution. Basically what this involves is that you can either take the flippers or the suction boots at the first part of this level, or you could take the flippers and the fire boots instead. I'm going to go with this configuration because it's easier and it involves a lot less headaches later on, which is nice. So yeah, let's just go ahead and explore around. There's a lot of monsters here that aren't even moving. They're in the traps. But they will move, spoiler alerts, soon enough. And we will be using a lot of these blocks in this room. So one of the things that is going to happen is that the paramecium that's right to my left here is going to be the only paramecium, I believe, in this room that will move at all. And well, the nice thing about this is that due to the controller and boss glitch in the game, you can actually block this guy in, which is pretty cool. I love the fact that you can do that. And now I feel like I just blocked myself in, but I think I'm okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to create a space where I can extract stuff. Sort of. Let's see if this can really work. I'm just trying to see, because it's always going to go to the right, so as long as it just always goes to the right, I should be okay. Okay, so I think, is that, I can't retrieve that one in the bottom right, but I think it will be okay. Alright, I know that we can survive with this arrangement, but I don't want to survive, I want to live, to quote a recent Pixar movie. Alright, so this teeth is also going to give us trouble. And for that, I'm actually going to block this teeth off right now. I don't think I will actually remove that block. And here, if you got the fire boots, you could go in through the fire here, but because we don't, we're having to go in this way. We've also got some skates, and I believe there's actually an extra pair of skates in this level, if I'm not mistaken. But it's there just because these walkers are really difficult to navigate, and they're even more difficult to navigate in the solution I'm not using, if I remember correctly. So I think I missed some ships over... Did I miss any in this room? I really hope I did not. Not up there. It's up through here. Okay, I can go up here and get these. One of these bugs is going to be released. And I really hope I did not miss any ships under blocks. I really, really hope I did not. And I think I did. There's 8 over here. And... I did get all of those. Oh, great. This is not good. This is really not good. I could have just done that the whole time. Why did I make that complicated? There we go, there's 1. 2, 3. Okay, good. Alright, that should be sufficient. Let's just see if this works. I can retrieve that boot when or the block when I get the fire boots later, so that's no biggie there. Alright, so I'm going to lose my boots, I'm going to get all these, and then I'm going to go through here, and then the teeth that follow me through is going to die, and now all the monsters are awake. Well, not all of them, but quite a few of them are awake, at least. I'm still not going to get those fire boots yet, though, because I happen to know that there's another thief that I'm going to have to face down here. So I'm going to walk across here, and honestly, this section is really annoying. I'm going to be pause buffering this because this is one of my least favorite things in any level. Okay, good. He went down. Okay. So at this point, I need to go this way. There's a blob here to avoid. And all the tanks move. So thankfully, tanks are a monster that's easy to take care of in a level like this. And that was very risky. I don't know why I did that. So you have a couple of walkers here. You need to get these 2 keys. You don't really need to get the yellow keys. And at this point, we need to go back and get those fire boots now. And then it's time to start bridging to our ultimate goal. So I'm going to go and grab these skates, even though technically they're not necessary, but they're going to make our lives a lot easier. Okay, there you go. I'm sorry if that's kind of a little bit seizure-inducing for some people, but it's... Uh-oh. Did I? Okay, good. I did not make this unsolvable. Okay, so at this point, I just need to go back through this one last time, and this should be the final time I do this section. Okay. And now I can actually go with the flow here of these fireballs, which is pretty cool. And then we are allowed to go through and get this block, but I'm actually going to get another block from this room instead. As long as I don't get into a position where I'm forced to remove that teeth block, I should be okay. So what I'm going to try to do here... Oh, can I not get... Oh wait, I have to go this way. My bad. I recently optimized this too. I feel like I should be better at this. Okay, I'm just trying to be super ultra careful here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's 7 fireballs all in all, and I'm just going to go ahead and send them in there to drown. So that should get rid of all the fireballs that are moving. There's still a bug on the loose, but really that's not too much of a concern. So all these traps should be open, which is nice in MS. I have not optimized this in Lynx, so I am not sure how that would go down. But thankfully this is not terribly crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this guy, and then I'm going to use a ram to make this a lot easier. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to basically try to explain the gist of the other solution. Okay, so with that rammed in, it should just be a simple matter of, yep, doing that. So the other solution, well, first of all, involves using the blocks in this paramecium room right away, like before all the monsters get freed. And instead of bridging like I'm doing right now, basically what you do is you have to bridge all the way back to the starting room, because you're going to be using, first of all, you won't have flippers, much like we're doing right here. But one of the things you're going to be doing is that you're going to be creating a partial post on the bottom with the teleports there, which is quite an interesting puzzle. And the way you do that is you actually have to go on the outer edge of the level. And there's a paramecium you have to dodge there, but you go up here, and there's the paramecium. You go on the outer edge of the level and go all the way around, and you clear the dirt that's located... I guess it's safe to go across this, but you would clear the dirt that's located over... I think I'm allowed to do this, right? Yeah, right over here. And this allows you to use these blocks and push them down, and allows you to fill in the water that we went through when we got the flippers earlier on at the bottom left. So it's interesting. It's more complicated, I think, and you have to go through the entire level several times, which makes things even longer, and that involves going through that walker area even more, which I absolutely don't want to do. So that's the reason why I chose this solution. Once you get this part and figure it out, the rest of the level is pretty much just grunt work, and that's not too hard. I suppose this level might be a little bit more difficult in Link's with the way this whole paramecium thing works. But even so, it's one paramecium in the whole level. That's not really hard. I think the teeth might actually be a little bit more of an issue in that case. But even that's not that bad. Okay, I shouldn't have done that, but I don't think that's going to affect anything for the worse. Alright, I still don't want to uncover the paramecium yet. I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing. And let's try this. Thankfully the bug actually goes down there, which if it stayed in the trap, that would have been bad news. And I think that's all the blocks, right? Let me just check. Except, yeah, that's all the blocks. So let me get this last one. I feel like I did that. I should have pushed it down. What was I doing there? That was silly. And now I can't really... Can I do anything with this? Not really. Okay, let me just grab one more. Yay for doing silly stuff. I have just enough to keep from releasing the paramecium, so that works out. So yeah, the whole arrangement with the ball cloners at the beginning is what the tank thing in Recurring Dream was supposed to reference. Except it was a little different and more strange there. Alright, so we should have everything we need. So the idea was that Chip did see a drawing of this level earlier, and just remembered that part of it in the dream. Which is interesting because in Modhov's original set, this level actually came first. And we don't want to go down there, because if we went down here, we would be forced to go through the other recessed wall, and then we wouldn't really be able to get back to the start with the teleports because the water would be there and we couldn't cross the water. So that's what that whole partial posting puzzle in the other solution is all about, really. So at this point, everything's back to being asleep now that we press the toggle button. So this should be a simple matter of exiting. Alright, suspended animation is done, and by the way, these are invisible walls, in case anyone was wondering. or hidden walls, I should say. And next time, we are going to be taking on the epic level Avalanche. This level is just, it's an unbelievable level to solve in terms of a challenge. It's definitely one of the hardest levels ever made, and once you get the trick behind it, it's, again, kind of like suspended animation. It's just mainly a lot of block pushing, but figuring all of it out is really quite a beast. It's just nuts. But we'll take it on next time. So until then, guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to hit that like button, and I will catch you on the flip side. So take care, and I will see you then.